separate from Elliott waves, because I think I needed to go over this to explain what I'm expecting and and the reason why I'm expecting what I'm expecting. So I think it'll give you a little bit of confidence about not FOMOing in, Gary, at 36, nutter. I was selling and you were buying, mad. But it doesn't mean you're wrong. It's about time. We have to time it right, okay? And I think by now you know, because you called it yourself. We know what we're looking for when we're looking for an explosive move. You called it down here. You said Slerf is looking really bullish, yeah? But the context is really important because that was in the lows. So look for Slerf to be bullish in the lows. Don't look for Slerf to be bullish in the highs when it's already extended, yeah? Now we're looking for bearishness to short. That's what we're looking for, aren't we? Yeah, we're looking for weakness, not for strength. We're looking for weakness. Anyway, let me just hide these. And then the other thing I wanted to do is just kind of do an overall analysis of Slerf. I've got my volume profile. I'm going to go to the 4-hour time frame. Now that I've done that, I think everyone has a better idea of what to expect and not to expect. I've got my volume levels, so I wouldn't mind us to come back to this high volume note. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, why not come back and test that high volume note? Yeah, we had a little test here yesterday and it held, little SR flip, and I was just thinking, why not come back to test it one more time? It'd be a very good entry if we were to come back to that high volume node, wouldn't it? Gary woke up, picked up his phone and longed. Nice. All the way up to there on the fib retracement, you see that's looking like it's at the golden pocket too. So it's already a good ratio to long, isn't it? It's a good place to long. And you've got the high volume node, which is, you also got some kind of SR flip going on here, haven't we? Okay, so I do think that's not a bad place to long if we get that opportunity, because it's a high volume node. Let me bring in my other trend lines. Yeah, I mean, another test of this lower trend line, or as close as possible. Yeah, we haven't properly tested it in a meaningful way. Like, we have tested it. This was a good test. I like these, but I don't like this. I don't like any of this. I hate this. And because I hate this, I'm thinking to myself, well, it'd be nice for the price to come back and have a proper test, like a real test. If we do manage to get the price down to this level by the 3rd of June, golden pocket, high volume node, this trend line could be a good long. And again, you plan these longs, they may or may not happen. It all depends on the price, where the price comes to. What other trend lines do I have? So we're clearly beyond this trend line. And the other thing to bear in, what trend line was that? Oh, that was the newer trend line that I drew. Okay, that's fine. You know what's interesting is that was a nothing trend line, to be honest with you. This was the main one. This was the main one. And you see what happened is we broke. We found support. Yeah. And we took out the high. That's a resumption. We may very well find support on the top of these pivots as well. So I just want to make you aware that would be really quite bullish for that to happen. Okay. So if the price action fails to get below these two pivots here, and that would be a good place to see if the price, like right now, we haven't really properly back tested it. We had a little fake out here, but we haven't had a proper test. And I'd like to see a test So if we start seeing that those two pivots flip, then we might be ranging here. That would be really bullish. That would be very bullish to have some kind of flat correction, some kind of pennant, some kind of flag, something here without losing those two pivots. And I think if we do lose those pivots, we're probably heading down for this area. Feel the gap of this candle, fill it all down, and that would be a good place to long. That's kind of where I'm at now with the price action and what I think could happen. The only thing is that I don't want to take out this low. That's basically my line in the sand. But obviously if you start losing, you know, if you start losing this area, it's going to start looking really bearish. You start losing that trend line, you can't hold it, golden pocket, high volume. You start losing that area, it's going to look really bearish, really bearish. And if that happens, you couldn't long. You'd have to wait for the price to come right back up, or you'd have to look for lower. You'd have no choice. You wouldn't just blindly long an area where the price really needs to hold support. Yeah, and then you'd really be looking for lower. It could be another sweep of the lows here, or best case scenario all the way down here. Why do I say best case scenarios? Because if you're looking to buy, you want to buy as cheap as possible, right? And so if we do lose that area, we're going down. I'm not saying we are. I don't think so, because I'm seeing a bullish impulsive. I'm bullish. Yeah, I have been bullish forever, really, since I started streaming. And why? Because we're in a Bitcoin bull market. We haven't even really begun. Yeah. So obviously I'm bullish, but now I'm also contemplating my invalidations. And so obviously if I start seeing a real drop, my first clue would be lose this I've called it SFP. It should actually be SR flip. That'll be your first clue. If the price changes market structure and we lose that level, the price is probably going to fill this gap all the way down to here and looking for support here. Yeah, that will be a good place to long. Let me just also see my higher time frame levels, put them as in. Yeah, exactly. Look at where it is. You have a developing monthly level and a daily level. We might not even get that low, to be honest with you, because you've got some liquidity levels slightly higher up. This is going to be really strong support, all of this area. Really strong support. Starting at about 0.3030 all the way down to 0.2961. Quite strong support there. You've got a developing monthly level. As long as the month ends green, that will be a monthly level. You have a daily level. You've got this golden pocket, you've got this high volume node, and then also you've got this trend line, which I wouldn't mind testing one more time. It doesn't matter when, wouldn't mind a test. I think then we'd have to lose this SR flip. If we were to lose that, I want to see a test of that SR flip. Like, I'm not looking at the price action now and thinking I'm going to long now. I'm not interested in longing now, okay? I don't really care. If the price was now to consolidate here, and then clearly that daily level was holding as support, then I would start to think differently, okay? So time is required now, so we can see what happens to the price. Yeah, I want to see what happens next. I'm not just going to long willy-nilly hoping for the price to go up, because I'm very aware that the price could quite easily go down because we've already moved quite high up. And so I want to see that we can back test and flip levels. This will probably be the first level of interest of mine here, this SR flip. Lower down we've got this daily level that's already been tested once. You could go down, lose the SR flip, but still find support on the daily level to come back up. It's possible. Yeah. And so it would get people bearish because you're losing this SR flip, but actually all you're doing is just a liquidity grab. Come down here, invalidate people because their stops are underneath the daily level, but actually you're just going right back up, and it's just a liquidity grab, and that would be fine as well. Yeah, but you wouldn't, in that situation, you wouldn't willy-nilly long. You'd wait for a swing failure because I would recognize what's happening, and that it's just a liquidity grab. Yeah, so you wouldn't just long. The thing is, if you were to go down and lose this SR flip, you wouldn't just long willy-nilly. But if you do then see a swing failure, then you recognize, okay, this is a liquidity grab. I could long the swing failure. As long as the price can get back up, then you'll have a really good position. So let's just see what happens. If we have to look at this correction. Is it going to be flat? Is it going to be zigzag? Is it going to, who knows? We have to see. Yeah. Right now we're in a correction mode. You can clearly see we're correcting. The price action is very different to yesterday. Yeah, it's very different. And we're not going up anymore. So just bear that in mind. It's a very different price action to yesterday. So we have to now try and understand what's happening. You know, look, you see that? There's a little bit of a trend line there. Couldn't hold. So that's your wave one trend line. Now we're going to correct and put in a pivot for the next wave, hopefully. That's kind of where I'm at with Slerf. Any questions on that? Gary? Lesson learned. Oh yeah, of course. BTC held the trend line again, feel all-time high coming, pulling Slerf with it. Dowd Ben, for me, the most bullish thing about Slerf is the liquidity. No dump, more allowed. Actually, you know, the liquidity on Bybit is terrible, to be honest with you. It's really hard to build a big position on Bybit. Probably on Radium it's easy. Yeah. All right. I think I want us to go down, honestly. I don't know if I want a flat correction here. It'd be too easy. I think I'd like to see it be a little bit more difficult. Yeah. I'd like to see us to go down to back test some levels. I don't know when it's going to happen. Okay. But in the meantime, I'm looking to short. I'm not looking to long. The best shorts are obviously going to be swing failures of the highs. Yeah. But again, you're counter trending, aren't you? Right now, the trend is bullish. You're counter trending. So you have to take profit. It'd be a lot easier to let market structure change. Yeah. If market structure is to change. But look, it's looking quite bouncy right now. So it's going to be really hard to short as well, you know. So you have to lock in your profits. When you're trying to trade some kind of correction, you have to take profit. Very different to an impulsive move. If you're in an impulsive move, you have to kind of let your profits, let your position run as long as possible. Okay. But when you're in kind of a corrective move now, you have to take profit quite quickly. I'm still thinking down, some kind of down, but right now I don't know what's going on, so just have to let it play out. Like I do know what's going on, but we have to let it form. Let me just do a volume range pull just from when we came above this daily level here to the current price. You can see we're range bound. We're underneath the value area high, we're above the value area low, and the point of control is at the moment offering a little bit of support. Effectively, that's our range for the time being, this volume area. And you know, you could short the top of the range, you could long the bottom of the range, and you could keep on doing that while we're range bound. That's the volume range. And then right now you can see that there's a little bit of a price range as well, right from there to there. It's a price range. And what I would love to see is some kind of fake out to go up. I would love to see that sometime in the next week or so, maybe the beginning of the month or something. I don't know, some kind of scare. And that would coincide with Bitcoin, obviously, and just go all the way down. And the later the possible, later the better. I don't want it to happen soon. I'd like it to happen as there on the Sunday, the 2nd of June. And so potentially, this is what I'm saying, potentially we could be ranging here for the next week, right? Gary is actually saying the central exchanges have to market buy coins as the team have none to give, and there's not a lot to go around. Dowd is saying Bitcoin also a great model. You can see his name HBOBSI, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic. Are you mad? Dowd is saying I really think 0.21 is 0 is the bottom. Yeah, I mean, look, I do too. I think the bottom is in too. I've actually, you know, like I've created a video saying the bottom is in. Yeah, so of course I think the bottom is in. I thought that was the bottom. For me, this was the bottom here. But it doesn't matter. I'm not going to just buy here at the top of an impulse. I'm going to wait for the correction to play out. Okay, it's the same thing, because it'd be amazing if we can come down and get one last great entry before we really expand and go up. Okay, but you know, it doesn't mean that I don't think the bottom is in. But the other thing to bear in mind is while Slerf has been leading, yesterday clearly Slerf was leading. So when I was talking to you guys yesterday about Bitcoin, and actually let me bring in let me get rid of all this jar information. Actually, let me just, this is the trade plan, right? So I'll post this in the chat so you can have it. I think the later the better, because this lower trend line is coming up. So you kind of, this is what I'm thinking. It'll be quite a wide invalidation, but that's kind of where I want to long, right? And if it's an impulsive move, I'd like it to go all the way up to the point of control. That's kind of my long idea. If we can get down there, and then if I start seeing this SR flip hold, I might start building a position a bit higher up. I just have to see what happens, and I'm going to count the corrections because I want to do it on the C. I'm not going to just willy-nilly buy the B or whatever, the A. I'll be looking to buy the C. So I'm going to be counting that too. This is the trade plan effectively, and I don't know how this correction is going to be, but amazing if we could come all the way down to here for an impulsive move. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And if it happens, then it happens. You know, like, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't happen. That's how you become a good trader. When you create a plan, you don't really care if it happens or not, but if it happens, you take the trade. Yeah, and that would be amazing. That would be a really good entry. I think if we were to, it might be front run. I think there's quite a lot of interest and bullishness now. Like, people are looking at the price action, they're really bullish now. For my part, Dowd is saying, for my part, I think if we get a great entry at 0.25, 0.30 on long, you had to keep the trade for the whole bull run in case, because I really like the fact that no one guilt is potential. Look, 2.5 or 3. Well, 2.5 is going to be underneath my invalidation. So if we go down that far, I'm not going to be in a long. I don't want to take out that low. Okay. And 3 is kind of my area of interest right now. Okay. And you'll be surprised, because you think now this is never going to come down, but it's not how crypto works. Crypto always does the opposite of what you think. You think this is going to go to the moon, but actually a lot of people are sitting on profits. As soon as the price starts looking a little bit limp, a little bit weak, they're going to start taking their profits. You'll see. Okay, so just be aware of that. Yeah, don't just think, oh no, this is going to the moon, I'm going to hold it. Yeah, it's always good to take profits, and then it's always good to re-add at good levels, at good areas of interest. All right. Anyway, this is my kind of area that I'm looking to long at the moment, and I just don't want to take out that low, right? So potentially that could be your invalidation, but it's quite a wide invalidation. I don't like that. I'd really want to see a reaction. That's what I'd want to see. Price comes in, get a reaction, then you have your invalidation, okay? Because then you wouldn't want to see a reaction and then that. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be in that trade. What you'd want to be in is a reaction, and then yeah, go on. All right, that's kind of my Slerf idea right now, and let's just see how this correction plays out. I think we'll see. I mean, it's quite easy to see with Slerf if it's looking really bullish. Yesterday when we were looking at Slerf together, let me just hide these now. And this is like homework. Like, I'm just because you guys are here watching me entertain you. Go and have a look at these two together, Slerf and Bitcoin, and tell me what you think. Yesterday we were looking at Slerf and Bitcoin. Slerf was here, really. What was it? It was here. Slerf on the left, Bitcoin on the right. Slerf was here. See, Bitcoin was here going down. See that? And here Slerf is going up. See that? So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for Slerf to go up while Bitcoin is going down. As soon as that happened, that was Gary spotted that. And then my theory was that Slerf is leading and therefore Bitcoin should go up. And it didn't do exactly what I was hoping, because I was longing Bitcoin, and kind of Bitcoin went a bit sideways. It did go down here, and it's interesting to see here Bitcoin goes down and Slerf is just kind of going up. See that? Bitcoin is going down, Slerf is going up, and that was really the entry. This was the best entry here. This was an early warning system, but this was your entry, because not only did Bitcoin, if you see here, Bitcoin took out the low here and it started going up, and as soon as Bitcoin started going up, Slerf just was started to rampage. You see that? That was, and you could see the strength because Slerf is here going up, and here you see Bitcoin is going down. So Slerf was leading Bitcoin in this instant. We got it early, much earlier than maybe. You have to bear that in mind, okay? Amir manifesting a drop for his entry. Well, I'm sure you're going to take the entry with me, so for all of us. I think this is really, I think I've discovered something very interesting. I think you could probably see this in other charts as well. And definitely, you know, like, we're all here trying to make a shitload of money, and we're trying to print money, aren't we? So I've kind of discovered something quite interesting. Keep an eye on it. Yeah, if you start seeing that Slerf is going up while Bitcoin is looking really weak, that's your signal, right? And vice versa. If you suddenly see Bitcoin go up, if you suddenly start seeing Bitcoin pump and Slerf go down, that's weak. That's also bad. Yeah, so just, it's the reverse as well. If you see Bitcoin go up and Slerf go down, that's bearish. If you see Bitcoin go down and Slerf go up or hold and show strength, that's bullish. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for those early warning signals, those signals, right? And let's just keep an eye on it. Come back here, or just let me know, or tweet or whatever. Tweet me if I don't see it. I am looking to, but we don't always get it. All right, that's kind of Slerf. Any questions on that? I'm really, I'm looking for the next wave, the next big wave. And actually, just thinking about Slerf, like I think about Slerf a lot. We have a really mega bullish daily candle here. It's a kind of crazy candle. We've taken out how many days of price action all the way through to from the 7th of May. We've taken out all of that price action. It's gone in one candle pretty much, or two. It's not an engulfing candle per se, because usually engulfing candles follow red candles. This is just following a green candle, but it took the liquidity from the lows, which is what you want to see, but didn't make a lower low, actually made a higher low. So it's actually quite a bullish kind of reversal pattern that we're experiencing now. And obviously that's reflecting on the weekly time frame. I don't know if I'm expecting the weekly to end here. I think I'm possibly expecting the weekly candle to close lower. I don't know. I do think that we possibly could drop again, and we have to see how this plays out. And one of the reasons why I'm kind of in that mind is because we still have, like, I like to look at these averages, moving averages. Which one is that one? What is that one again? That's the 200 EMA. So we're finally above it. So that's quite good. It's quite good that we're above it. We're holding it as support. Lose it as support. Guess what? We're going down. The 4-hour 50 moving average is quite flat now. It's not really trending. So we've flattened out this 4-hour 50 moving average. Yeah. It's very unlikely for us to continue going up without a little back test. Very unlikely. Yeah. You see here, this 50 moving average, even though the price expanded up, it did come back many times. It's very unlikely for the price to just do that without some kind of back test. Yeah. I can't imagine it to happen. In here, looking at the 12-hour 50 moving average, you can still see that it's kind of trending down. Last time the price went above it, look, it just collapsed. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's going to happen now, but I think it is important to find support. I think it is important. However it happens, I think it's really important that the price comes back, flattens out these moving averages, which indicates the momentum of the market, and finds support for continuation. It's very unlikely for us to continue going up without that. It could happen. Anything can happen. Crypto is a nut house. Yeah. But just bear that in mind. Dowd is asking, Amir, I will invite you restaurant when Slerf be back. Thank you. You're the best, bro. 5K. No problem. If momentum comes back, what zone? Well, look, taking profit, there's two ways to do it. You can take profit or you can hedge. Yeah. If you've got a really good position, you might want to just hedge. And hedging is just shorting your whole position. Yeah. So you're not losing your initial entry. But it means that if the price comes down, you don't lose fiat value. So there's two ways of doing it. Honestly, I keep on talking about resistance levels, and I've talked about them a lot, and they haven't really changed. For me, resistance levels are the maximum amount of confluence when it comes to liquidity. Yeah. And so naturally what I do is I put the volume levels, I put my liquidity levels, my daily, monthly and weekly levels, and I also put what else do I do? The fibs. Sorry. Fibs. Those are the things that I'm actually looking at the most. Yeah. And then when you have a chart full of horizontal lines, most of the time I'm looking at horizontal lines. Not trend lines are very subjective. I use trend lines as confluence, but not as primary source of resistance. You can see here Areas where there's black are gaps in liquidity. So there's a little bit of a liquidity gap here. You see that? So if the price was to get there, it will move up quite fast. But here you can clearly see there's strong resistance. Yeah, you've got these weekly level, you've got the range point of control, you've got a 382 kind of there. I think that's a good place for the price to find resistance. Yeah, it doesn't mean the price isn't going to find resistance at any other level that I've marked off. You see here I had this daily level marked off, and you see how the price is finding resistance. Yeah, so it's just that when the price gets there, you've got so much confluence. You've got a weekly level, a point of control, and a 382. So while here the price will find resistance, but it could still go up, you know, like it's not as strong as here. And so naturally, when you do get to 41 cents or 42 cents in that range, that's definitely a good place to hedge, take profit, hedge, whichever one you do, it's the same really. Or I'll be looking for shorts too. I'll be looking for shorts because the price could easily reject from there. Yeah, and if it rejects from there, it's normal. You know, the price never goes up in a straight line. So definitely definitely take that area into consideration. I think, look, it's very unusual for these fib levels to be ignored. So I am expecting the price to come back to this 236. I think it's very unusual. Yeah. You see, look, let me show you. Yeah, just in this chart. You see here, the price expanded above the 236 here. And it went all the way up to the 382 here. And look what happened. It came all the way back down to the 236. Found support. Went all the way back up to the 382. See that? So I think it's very unusual for us to just expand through this 236 without some kind of meaningful backtest. Yeah. So therefore I will be looking for a backtest. Now that's higher than my area that I really want to long, which is down here at about 30 cents. But it doesn't matter, because if I see the price come there and I see it's finding support, I'll take that long too. It's quite a good long. It's a back test of a daily level with the 236 underneath it. But I'm not the kind of person to willy-nilly long. Yeah. And actually I might not. I don't know. Look, I'm just looking at the chart right now. You see, I told you short. I was saying short. You're not longing this correction. You're shorting. But here, the problem coming down here is we're potentially forming some kind of head and shoulders pattern. And I don't even know. I want to see how if the price hits this level in a really strong manner, very aggressively, you don't long that. You don't catch falling knives. What you want to do is you want the price to come to your area of interest gently or find support. You know, you don't want to just catch that. If we suddenly see a drop like now, I'm not going to long that. Okay. I mean, I might, but it'll be a scalp. It'll be a scalp. And you'd have to take profit. But actually, it is a good place for the price to find support. You know, it's while I'm looking down here, I'm also thinking this is not a bad place there. But then I've got this SR flip in my mind. Okay, so I kind of I would prefer for these pivots to hold the price. And I think it's unlikely. I really do. I think it's unlikely, but who knows? I want to see what happens first there. And then actually I'd be thinking lower. I'd prefer to lose here, back test it to go down, or I'd prefer to lose, come here and then just get back above it. And I'd prefer to long there. I'd prefer to long the reclaim of that SR flip than just to blindly long this 236, because I'd be worried. I'd have to, these things you have to take profit back at that SR flip, because the price could do that. It could find resistance on that same level that you lost. Okay, so let's see what happens. Like, I don't know how this correction is going to end. We're probably forming some kind of, right now we're forming some kind of triangle, looks like it right now, right? And at the moment that has to break out. These can be bearish and bullish. They're like coin flips. And obviously if it breaks out, then we might be looking at some kind of extended flat correction, more bullish correction. Yeah, let's see how this correction is. Are we going to get an extended correction, extended flat? Are we going to get a zigzag? What kind of correction? We don't know yet. So let's just have a look. All right. Rude is saying, I think it's following BTC. So that, I mean, if BTC is trying to get down, can you explain why 20 cents had rebounded so hard? I think it's about the liquidity pool. I can't really answer the why of 20 cents bounced hard, except that it's always the same. It's always about buying and selling. You know, it's always about liquidity. It's always about the supply and demand. So down here, what happened here, I remember it because I was watching it. We had two liquidation events. Yeah, two separate liquidation events. And if you're not familiar with liquidation events, people market sell. Their positions are closed at market. Here's one. See that? That was one liquidation. That was the second one. With liquidation events, you get a market selling, and usually it's much lower than you think. Yeah. So the problem is liquidity. So there's going to be a lot of market selling. It's usually a lot lower than people imagine. It's never good to be liquidated because you always exit. You get exit at a much lower place, and you have so much pressure here, downward pressure. You see, if I do the volume, look at that red candle, volume candle. There's two red candles there. Look at this volume. It's like a lot of market selling, and the price held. Yeah, the price held this area, and then you had the back test here. It just means that there's more demand than supply here. That's all it means. You had a lot of selling, and the price just couldn't go down any further. And this was a good indication to see it because you had liquidations. Liquidations are really good to buy, and that's why on BTC I'm always looking at the order flow, because some of the best entries are after you get liquidation events. All right. Do we have another liquidation event here? I'm wondering. Possibly that could be. No. Possibly there was a liquidation here as well. See that? Got this big candle here. Market selling. And nice buy up wick. Nice buying tail. And you see the price actually kind of worked its way up. It still made a lower low. Did it? No, it didn't actually. Look, didn't actually make a lower low. See, that was a real key moment in the price.